Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tales of Three, your favorite queer D&D-based podcast. My name is Dusty, my pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy, Nightbreeze Tinkerfey, whose pronouns are she, her, and I still just want to know about New Guy. Now that you know who New Guy is, I still just want to know about him. What's his vibe?
He's dead.
Oh, dead now, but...
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana, my pronouns are she, her. I play Elara Spindlespark, whose pronouns are she, her, and by the power vested in me... By the power of science and friendship, I cast Shock and Shove.
You almost got through that without laughing.
Shock and Shove by Elara Spindlespark.
It's her signature move now, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm here for it. Hello, everyone. My name is Wayra. My pronouns are she, they, and I play Véres, usually, whose pronouns are he, they. I don't have enough Kleenex for this to dry up all the tears that I just cried from Ivy's fucking flashback.
Yeah, that was rough, buddy.
That was rough.
For real.
Hey you! Do you want to step into mayhem, chaos, and experience the dystopian future of corporate oligarchs while riding around a futuristic technopunk city? Come join us over at Big Campaign Pod, where we'll keep a bacon pie and ultra-processed soylent burger warm for you. Our homebrew world of fast cars, eldritch abominations, and privatized gang activity has been running for 20 years thanks to all the knuckleheads we have. If you want to help us build this world and keep this story going, join us on our Discord or check out our website, bigcampaign.com, where you can listen to us or on any place you find your podcasts. Thanks. All right. Bye.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode. Last time, we picked up with Elara, Ivy, Arias, and Novik taking on a slew of flying seahorses who were trying to steal Bia. As Novik tried to sneak forward, he was attacked by the small creature and everyone sprang into action. 3 humanoid water creatures made their presence known and a fight ensued, with Ivy calling down lightning, Elara shocking flying seahorses as she ran to the water, Novik face-stepping to rescue Bia, and Arias casting Dispel Magic on an ink cloud. After an intense fight, Novik was able to free Bia and kill the objectively attractive tentacle dude, while Elara pulled off her newly coined Shock and Shove, and Ivy wild-shaped into a bone crocodile. It is important to note that Arias and Novik were unaware of Ivy's strange wild shape. The Ice Lady was able to successfully escape when Ivy began to have a flashback, and we learned that this is the place where Beatrice, the love of Ivy's life, drowned. We also learned that many people believe Ivy had something to do with it. Ivy finally came out of her flashback when she saw Novik and touched his face, mistaking him for Beatrice, but the cold of his earring brought her back. She apologized and Novik and Arias gave her some space, with Arias healing Bia and Novik keeping watch. As Elara and Ivy talked, Novik spotted more creatures coming out of the water to attack, and Arias ordered the girls to head back to the castle. Elara had every intention of helping, until Ivy told her it was their only chance to try to find Véres, and Elara made a choice to leave Novik and Arias to fend for themselves. As the girls run off to find their friend, we're going to pick up now with Véres stepping through a tree. Véres, you step through this tree, and in a flash, you feel like you're stepping into nothingness. You can hear the tree bark groan as it closes behind you, and you feel the lurch as your body is transported from one space to another. This all happens simultaneously. In what feels like a moment, you see a flash of golden light go up like a wall in front of you, and then you feel your body is ripped back and swallowed by the darkness once again. A tree opens. The creaking of its bark sounds old, ancient, and tired, almost annoyed that it has to move to accommodate you. You're kind of shoved out with a bit of force, and you step out onto nothingness. There's no ground beneath your feet, and you fall, taking 5 bludgeoning damage as you land with this loud cacophonous sound into a pile of bones. Make a perception check.
It's a 13.
So you look around and you see that you are in some sort of pit filled with essentially like a massive pile of bones. most of which are fully decayed, but there are some scattered about that look to be still in the process of decomposing. And the smell of decay tells you there's likely more fresher bodies somewhere in this pit. You look up and see a massively tall ashen gray tree, whose trunk is not larger than a regular tree, but it looks old, decaying, almost as though it might be hollow inside. Its branches vary in size and length, but you see it kind of spreads out in these intricate patterns of branches, and it curves, kind of like towering over the pit. When you look to your left, you see that the tree that you fell out of is also ashen gray, though it's much smaller. And you notice there are many of these trees circling this pit, and the pit itself is probably 20 by 60 feet. Honestly, I think it reminds you, like the rectangular shape reminds you of a coffin.
That's not creepy or foreboding at all. I think he's going to take just a second to like get his bearings and like crawl out of the bone pile or, climb out of the bone pile to like a spot where he can get his solid footing,
So the pit is about 10 feet deep, so you can look up and see kind of where the top where you may be able to crawl out. All around you is soft earth, and I think as you turn to kind of get like a 360 to see if there is any way where you can climb out, you look up as you look to the right, kind of at the edge of the pit, and you see probably the most attractive man you've ever seen. He's on one knee, kneeling at the edge of this pit, looking down on you with like a curious smile. And he has his elbow resting on his knee with his hand kind of like cupping his chin. He has pale blue skin and kind of like tousled black hair that falls between his chin and shoulders. And you see he has like a shock of white hair that hangs down in front of his face, as well as a white patch on his facial hair on the left side. He's wearing a loose, dark-colored poet shirt with oversized sleeves that kind of taper off at the wrist, and it has this intricate silver embroidered, open, plunging neckline, and he has a chain around his neck with a dragon skull pendant that hangs low just between his pecs. And you see he has 2 scars, one under each of his pectoral muscles, that start on either side of his sternum and then disappear beyond the shirt. And he looks down at you with like a playful smirk on his lips, and he cocks his head to the side and says, "Well, hello." And he leisurely extends his hand down, and you see his fingers are adorned with jewels, and his hands are like smooth and uncalloused. "It would seem advisable that you take the hand offered to you, lest you be swallowed by this pile of bones. They don't like it much when one tries to crawl out."
I think he looks at this gorgeous man and kind of like glances around him and really seeing like no other option. This is not going to be an easy climb out for him.
I think you look at the dirt and you see that it's very soft earth all around you.
Mm-hmm.
So you could try. It definitely would take time, and it's not something that's going to be simple.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what this person's going to do if he tries. What's the vibe he's getting from him? Can I do like an insight check?
Oh yeah, go for it.
It's an 8. Super insightful.
He's smiling. His posture and demeanor is very relaxed, and he's just holding his hand out.
Okay. I think he takes a moment to consider it, and then we'll accept the help, the extended hand.
As you kind of both clasp hands, and he gently kind of tugs and starts to stand, and you feel yourself like effortlessly being elevated out of this pit, and he kind of deposits you onto the land right beside the pit. And you see now he stands at eye level with you, so he's pretty tall. And he has broad shoulders, kind of like a power lifter physique. You're honestly not sure if he cast something to lift you out or if he's just physically that strong, because you didn't see any magical essence or anything like that.
Yeah, and he's not light, so that's wild. I think that when he's on solid ground, he kind of like dusts himself off a bit. Looks at this man before him. I appreciate that.
Real quick, before he lets go of your hand, as you go to pull away, it's one of those things where like he doesn't let go of your hand, He's not holding it tight, but he doesn't just like let it go like you would normally assume. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. That's a 21.
Nice. He lets go of your hand. And very suddenly, you feel what you can only describe as your magical essence surge up, and this vermilion red smoke kind of wells inside of you. It almost feels like when you're getting ready to cast, that like buildup of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it tangles with some unknown force. for an instant, and then the feeling is gone. It kind of feels like some foreign force was trying to like hook into your magic, but you're able to innately, without effort or thought or anything, I think it's something that just happens, kind of surge your own magic and almost overwhelm this force and push it away. But it happens so quick, like in the blink of an eye, that you're actually make an intelligence, just a straight intelligence check. No, make an arcana check.
An arcana?
Yeah, make an arcana check.
Okay. 22.
So I think that it happens so quickly that there's a part of you that is not sure if you imagine the feeling, but I also think there is this kind of dueling side. You know what your magic feels like. You know what the essence of your magic feels like. You know that something happened. Whatever this person was trying to do, you feel like you were able to somehow push it away.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Immediately, I think he gets a little on guard. A little more than he was already.
Mm-hmm. I think the man just like quirks a brow at you. Oh, I quite like you.
I think he quirks an eyebrow as well. Says, I'm not quite sure what I've done to deserve that honor, but...
You took the hand offered by a kind stranger. What's not to like? Tell me, what brings someone like you to this wretched place? And you hear like what sounds like tree branches like crack and groan for a moment.
Is there a particular direction?
You can make a perception check.
I'm so great at those. This place is creepy as hell. Yeah, it's a 5.
It sounds like it's coming from kind of all over.
Cool. Okay. I don't particularly know how I ended up here. I was attempting to head to this Seelie and wound up here.
He smiles. Oh, you certainly did not end up in the Seelie.
He nods, says, no, I rather think that I ended up back in the Unseelie.
Rather perceptive of you. What gave it away? All the darkness?
There's a certain feeling in the air here. I've met people from the other side, and I don't feel like they give off this particular energy, if that makes sense.
No, I don't suppose we mingle very well with the light. You'll learn. It gets rather tedious. They hate us, we hate them. Titania this, Nemeth that. He cocks his head to the side. What might I call you?
Can he get the feeling that it might not be, would you say, like a good idea to lie in this scenario? Or that he should, like, does this person feel dangerous to him?
I think definitely.
Like, obviously it's a little unsettling, but like...
Make an insight check.
I'm gonna fail that so hard. It's a 17, that's not bad.
You can sense that he's dangerous or powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that you feel particularly threatened right now.
You can call me Simon.
He makes a face that's almost like ew. Simon. Such a plain name for one with such striking features as yours.
Oh boy. I think that he smiles a little bit. Flirting is something he can deal with. That's like known territory for him. I can assure you that's the only plain thing about me. And what might I call you?
I think he like puts his hands out, like both of his hands out, kind of gesturing to the area around him. Well, today, you may call me your savior. Tomorrow, one can never know.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, though I wish it was under better circumstances. I count it as good fortune that I met someone as handsome as you in a place like this.
He puts his hand to his chest and like takes a step back, like kind of dramatically. Flattery. A man after my own heart. But as much as I would love to stay in your company, I fear I must be off. I'd offer for you to join me, but we both know your answer, and I don't think my heart would bear hearing you say no to me. So, I must bid you adieu. And he kind of bows slightly.
I think that he's debating on asking how the fuck to get out of here, because if everyone around is kind of like as he expects them to be, and like how Scout, someone he met before, was like, then information has a price, and he doesn't know if he wants to pay it to this person.
Well, he steps towards the pit, as if to step off the edge, and you watch. We'll make a perception check.
It's 18.
He got a natural 20.
Fuck.
You watch the area around his foot where he steps off the edge into nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
You watch it blur, and then he floats towards the tree that you tumbled out of and places a hand, which blurs again, on the tree bark, and it groans as it opens, and he looks back at you and like flashes a smile. You want to escape this place?
I do. I have somewhere I need to be, people to find.
He nods. Follow the light, but do make haste. It won't be around for much longer, I'd wager. And he throws his hand out, like almost like if you were to like rip open a curtain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And his hand goes out to the side in a blur again. And your head snaps forward, I think, as you hear this like mass sound of breaking and snapping branches. And you see now, off in the distance, there was this like mass of trees and branches and vines, all ashen gray, all old and decaying like the ones that are close to you. And they all kind of were bound together like a wall. And as he throws his hand, you watch that wall cracks and breaks, revealing a thinning out forest behind it and like a hilly landscape and light.
Oh, no way. It was that close this whole time?
And through this now kind of crack in this wall of trees, you can see humanoid-shaped shadows at the edge of like where the darkness meets the light. And you hear this like low, mumbling, chanting sound coming from that direction. But I think that your attention is pulled by this wailing sound at your side as the towering tree seems to scream beside you.
I turned to look at it immediately.
The man is gone. I think you watch like the remnants of that tree that you fell out of closed up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're left alone.
I think that he let a soft sigh a little bit. It's unnerving to find just like a random person in the middle of the forest, let alone someone attractive like that. In nature, it's usually that the most attractive things are the most dangerous. And this is the Feywild. He doesn't know if he just dodged a bullet or, I don't know, missed an opportunity, you know? I think he's gonna look around for the safest way towards the light.
Make a perception check.
It's a 3. Well, no, it's a 6 in total.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, so much better, honestly.
That was the DC, it was 6. So you look out, I think, and it's essentially a forest, right? Of these ashen gray trees with a thick canopy above that blocks out any sky, any light you can't see. And you just see that as it does thin out off in the distance. And then obviously you see that there is that kind of hole where that person just cleared for you. It doesn't look like anyone comes here other than by way of that pit. You don't see footsteps around. It's eerily quiet. You don't hear sounds of forest or sounds of life. The only thing you hear every once in a while, or that you heard while the conversation was going on, is creaking and groaning of the branches and the bark.
Okay. Well, I don't think he wants to stay here, so he's going to start carefully making his way towards the light, and just being really cautious, I guess. Maybe sneak.
You can roll stealth.
Well, that was pretty good. That is a 21.
So the earth is very soft beneath your feet. You know, like when you dig something up and then you kind of will rebury it. It's kind of that feeling of when you step, you kind of sink in a little bit. And you're careful not to step on any branches or anything like that might make a noise. And you would know because, like I said, it is so quiet in this forest. As you start to walk, you kind of like skirt your way around the pit to go towards the light. And as you are walking past the tree that seemed to like have its branches towering over the top of the pit, with your passive perception out of the corner of your eye, you see the wood kind of shift about like 6 inches below like your eye height.
He side glances at it.
It looks like a face
Oh, I don't like that.
made out of wood.
I think that he looks away from it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna keep walking.
So you walk, and I think you get about 10 feet. And once again, out of another tree, as you pass by out of the corner of your eye, you see the same humanoid face shape. But this time you see it almost bulge out of the bark and take shape.
Oh boy. If he looks back,
Mm-hmm.
is the other face still there too?
Make a perception check now that you're 10 feet away.
That's a 14.
You don't see it. The wood is not smooth, right? Because it's bark, but like it's back to regular tree bark. And when you look back at the tree that you just looked at, the face is gone.
Cool. Okay. I think he's going to take a second to kind of like, this probably would be another perception check, and I'm terrible at those. But I was going to say, is there something he could do to look around and like check and see if there's anything following him, or if it's besides the faces in the tree, or including the faces in the tree?
Yeah, you can make another perception check.
Okay.
Or make an investigation.
Investigation? Okay.
Yeah, because you're looking for something specific.
It's 19.
So as you look around, I think that you look up, you don't see another face as your kind of eyes are passing over the trees around you. When you look up though, you notice that the branches from that main tree that was hovering over the pit have twisted and turned themselves to hover above you.
Yeah, I hate that. We're gonna keep moving a little quicker now.
So I think you travel on for a few more minutes in this fashion. Out of the corner of your eye, you see a face. When you look back, it's gone. All the while, these branches are growing above your head. They are knotting and melding with the branches of the other trees and forming this brambly looking canopy above you as you walk.
He's just gonna keep walking, I think, and it's still keeping that hurried pace.
So you go a little bit further, and as you walk, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
That's 18.
As you're walking, you go to take a step, and you step with your left foot, and you step with your right, and then as you go to lift your left foot, you just happen to look down, and you watch a root emerge from the earth right where your foot is as you're about to lift your foot, almost in like an arch, as if to kind of hook your foot underneath it and trip you. What do?
Sidestep it for sure.
Make another dexterity saving throw.
16.
As you sidestep this uprooted branch and you kind of twist your body a little bit, you feel like branches slide down your back.
Oh boy.
Just like barely touching you. And you hear like a on the wind.
If he looks over his shoulder, the branches there?
They're just hanging there.
Okay, he's gonna hurry his pace more. Not quite a run, but like a jog through.
So you go on a little bit further. After like 5 minutes of like rapid kind of moving forward, the first thing that you realize is the light is getting closer, but it doesn't seem like it's getting close as quick as it should. And as you maybe are like pondering that, you hear cracking of wood again as a mass of branches just come out from either side, left and right, and block the path in front of you. Just like a wall of branches, just in like a flash, like it's like, you know?
Okay, he stops and he's gonna look around. Is there any way to get around it?
Well, so you turn, and when you turn, there is a tree in the path right behind you, and staring in your face is the same wooden face that you saw before.
Okay. Hello?
It speaks.
I do.
We have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
Do you know with whom you were speaking with just moments ago, little humanoid?
I do not.
Would you care to know?
It would be nice to know, but what would it cost?
Cost. You must do something for us first.
Oh?
There is something inside you that we detest. You must snuff it out.
I think he's silent a moment, kind of racking his brain for what it might be that he needs to snuff out. He doesn't know if it's talking about his magic or the curse, or maybe it's something else. What might that be?
There is a spark of light in you. It will not do. Not here. We crave darkness. Something will snuff it out. If you do not.
And how does one snuff the light in them?
You watch the features of this carved out wooden face kind of twist into this smile, almost, if you had to guess. We think that you already know.
I think for a moment he's confused, and then he thinks about it, about the darkest times in his life and the person he's become as a result of it. Ever since he left his old group, he was making a conscious effort to do and be better. And he was, for a time, but he slipped. When he went to the Abraxas estate just a few nights ago, he cannot deny that for a moment he got a sick satisfaction from taking the lives of those who had wronged someone he cared about and had wronged him. He'd rationalized that he gave them their chance, and they were the ones who ruined it. In the end, it just kind of left him cold and sick, with this numbing realization that he had been acting exactly like the person he hated the most. He was just starting to get a little better. He was managing his anger better and slowly facing his issues. I think that he realized that at the core of it all, he knows he never wanted to be like he used to be. And now that he's away from it all, he would not go back. So he shakes his head a bit and he says, I will not.
I think you watch the features shift into kind of a frown. Where did you come from, Kerwin Hamel? Not from the Unseelie. Certainly not from the Seelie. You do not belong in the light. No, your essence is not of the Fae, despite your changing nature. But you can find a place here, but only if you give in to it.
I think he doesn't know what to say. This creature knows his real name and somehow knows about his changing nature, which he assumes is a reference to the fact that he's a changeling. I think he just kind of stares at the face, trying not to give away that he's a little unsettled.
Look there. And the wall, you hear the wall behind you crack, and then you hear branches, dead, hollow branches hitting the ground. You turn.
I do.
And you see the light is much closer now. This break in all of those branches that the man had made is much closer. And the voice now from your left side, you see that its face has popped out of another tree closer to your left. Do you see what they have done? That light? But not for long. The good priests have come. They will take it away. The light. You can take yours away before someone else does.
I think he looks at the light. How do you know who I am?
You came from me. I know all who passed through. Do you know why you killed those ineffectual people? Did you really believe that you had to? Or did you do it because you could? Because you enjoy it? I see there is a part of you that enjoyed it. We want that. Give in to that. Feed on that. Darkness, corruption. You want to be wanted, to be loved, Kerwin, accepted. Come into our embrace. We will love you for your darkness, celebrate it, elevate you. You watch as the tree branches start to open, almost open themselves towards you.
How far away is the edge of the light?
Oh God, it's probably like 200 feet. It's still a ways off.
I think that he's listening and internally denying everything. And when she says, elevate you, he shakes his head. No. No, I won't.
Foolish. Do you want to see then why you cannot survive with that light?
I think he waits for her to continue.
Do you know what will help that? And you watch like a branch flick out and like a point, almost like a finger towards the light. That darkness spread. If you want, you can make a perception check.
Oh, wow. That's the highest I'm ever going to roll for perception, I think. It's 22.
Nice. Okay. Those humanoid shadow figures standing by the light, their chanting is getting louder. You can see that their arms are kind of out at their sides, like their elbows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching them move. And it's familiar to you only because you can kind of piece together. You can't see the front of them. They're casting and they're chanting. And you watch and you realize that the darkness is expanding and essentially eating into the light. And every couple of seconds, they take a step forward. They'll stop, take a step forward, and start again. Answer me.
I can hazard a guess.
Did you guess it is your blood? Run, Kerwin.
So as we watch Kerwin, or as we better know him, Véres, start to run, we start to pan back out and then focus in on Elara and Ivy, who are also running. They're tearing through the forest, and Ivy looks at Elara, and as best as she can, she yells out, "I know a shortcut, but it's dangerous. You have to follow me."
Okay.
And she veers sharply to the right. She has Bia firmly on her shoulder. She's even got a hand resting on Bia as she's running. And the two of you break through the tree line and come to, I think it's best described as a clearing, but only in the sense that it's clear of trees. Ivy pauses for a moment on the precipice of this topographical change, and Elara
barrels into her.
Elara, no, I'm kidding.
She stops.
As you stop and take in this sight, Ivy is quickly scanning over what you are now seeing. You are seeing a field of bright orange mushrooms. The caps are bigger than a person's body. The caps are dotted with pink amorphous shapes, and as the breeze wafts over them, they give off a coral mist. The mushrooms stand at about shoulder height at the tallest, and you can see that there are others growing up in between. Will you roll me a perception check?
5.
That's all you see, Elara.
Okay.
Ivy's going to roll. Yeah, so she spots a very thin, fine path, and she runs over to it, and she looks at you, and she goes, "You have to stay very close to me, and you have to stay on this path. Do not touch these mushrooms. Do you understand?"
Yeah, okay.
If you do, you will start to hallucinate.
Yes, no touching.
She's very intense. She's like, "It is a very bad trip. Do not touch these mushrooms."
Okay, I know you guys hate mushrooms, and I like them, but I don't like them that much, so it's totally fine.
Ivy kind of laughs a little bit, and she goes, "This is honestly why I hate mushrooms." And she starts picking her way through the path. It is like snaking through this field, so you have to be very deliberate in where you put your feet. Are you looking around, or are you just one-track mind?
I'll follow Ivy's kind of tracks as best I can, but if there's time to look around or glance at something, I think she will.
She's going very slow and deliberate, so if you want to roll another perception check, you can.
Yeah. Lucky 13.
You know what? Yeah, sure. I think with your lucky 13, you're sort of looking at the ground right now as you're picking your way through, very deliberate in your footsteps, and you notice a small crystal. I say small, but it's about the size of your hand. And these sort of crystals in various size dot the ground underneath these mushrooms. If you were looking down, you would never be able to see them. But because one of these mushrooms have been cut off at the stalk, you can notice bunches of them around.
Is it covered in orange dust?
Yes.
It's the size of my hand.
Come on, you know you want it. Reach for the mushroom, Elara.
Let me think about it for a second. I'm gonna take my glove, my shocking grasp glove, and I'm gonna palm it, and then I'm gonna like inside out the glove and put it in my pocket. If it's like
Which one do you go for? So there are a couple ones, they have different colors.
Okay.
Some of them have a mixture of 3 separate colors. Pink glitter, almost. Like a purple mist. And then sort of smoky black and green. Some of them have all 3. Some of them have 1 or 2. The ones that you're seeing the most generally have like the smoky black and green.
Do I think that they're like magical rocks, or like, do I know anything?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Well, she's got a really good Arcana, so even though I roll like shit, it's a total of 14.
Do you think, knowing what you know about magical rocks, they look like they're either very pretty rocks or they could be magical?
Okay, I'm just gonna pick up the one that's closest to me, like that's like this looks like the safest to pick up with my glove, and do the reverse glove thing and put it in my pocket.
Okay, that one has all 3 of these colors. The pink glitter is towards the very end, so there's not as much. So it's mainly just, it is honestly mainly the purple, but there is a strong presence of the smoky black and green as well.
Yeah, I'll put it in my pocket.
Perfect. Ivy's going to see if she sees you doing this.
Okay.
No, she does not.
Nice.
She is
She goes,
very
"Yes."
carefully picking her way through. Ivy hears you say, no, kidding. She is very carefully picking her way through. Do you pick up any more? Are you done?
I mean, if I can grab another one, yeah. I'll take like a shirt out, and you use it like to keep it secured, like so I don't get the dust on me.
Okay, yeah. Are you again just going for the safest, closest one?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this time you actually pick up 2 that were kind of like stuck together. They're both smaller, like cylindrical, jagged, and a bit bigger than one of your vials. One is all of that like glittery pink, and then the other is entirely that purple misty color.
Cool. Yeah, put it in my pocket.
Ivy is a good 5 feet in front of you now.
I catch up.
Roll me a dexterity check. And Ivy's also going to roll a dex check.
It's not so bad. It's not great, but it is a lucky 13.
Yeah, you're good. You're both good.
Crit.
No. Yeah, you both are good. You're both able to pick your way through this field without any incident and make it on the other side.
I think when they make it out, Elara has the Véres vial open on her chest, like, but I think she like kind of taps you on the shoulder. She goes, okay, so do you know where they are, or?
Honestly, the only thing I really know is that they're most likely in the Unseelie. So we're just going to get there and then start looking.
Okay, well, you know what? That's what I did when I got to Felismore. So, and it worked. It actually worked much better than I thought it was going to work. So, this will just be the same thing. We'll just get there. We'll figure it out. I have a cloak. We'll put a cloak on.
Yes, your cloak of billowing.
Mm-hmm. And we'll just. We're going like into there?
We are. Yes.
Okay. We got
It'll
this.
be fine. It'll be fine.
Yes, it will be fine. It will be.
We'll be fine.
Yep.
So that little detour just saved us about half a day.
Okay.
We will need to camp before we get to the Unseelie, but we're a lot closer than normal, so...
Well, that's great. I love it. And I think they will travel on.
Yeah.
And as they travel on, we're going to zoom out on Elara and Ivy. We're going to zoom back in to Véres, who is running. As this tree just told you to run, you turn, you start running.
Mm-hmm.
And from behind you, or I guess maybe more so from above, you hear this mass of snapping and twisting branches. As you watch, you look up.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You see countless tree trunks, tree branches diving down at you as you run. They almost form this one like massive form that's just kind of like snaking its way towards you, diving down.
Is it going the same speed as me? Faster? Like how
It's gonna smash down on your head. Like it's
For sure.
yeah,
How far away is it?
like 30 feet above your head.
Yeah, there's no way. He's gonna wait until the moment of impact. As soon as it looks like it's about to hit, he's going to, seeing that there's no way he's gonna be able to outrun this, and it's coming for him. He's gonna keep running right until the point of impact, and then he's gonna turn, and he's gonna skid one of his legs behind him to brace for impact. Put both of his hands up in like a mime stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna see vermilion mist kind of swirl up and take form into what looks like it shimmers into like a clear, like a vermilion kind of transparent wall, and the thing's gonna slam into it.
All right. So how far out does it go?
So like it can span 10 feet. He's gonna throw that up around him in like a dome kind of fashion. He's just gonna stay under it for a moment and kind of get his bearings.
And you hear as you throw it up, all of these branches kind of snapping and breaking as they could just kind of smash into the thing. What do?
If he looks around, is there any other branches coming from any other direction or just above?
Just above right now.
Okay. How far from the light is he?
Over 100 feet still.
Shit, okay. He's gonna look out about 30 feet away, and he's gonna take a note out of Ivy's books. And you're gonna watch as kind of like vermilion smoke comes in a wisp, like a little torrent in the dome, and he's gone and reappears 30 feet away,
Awesome.
closer to the light,
Okay.
and keeps running.
Okay. So as you're running, it goes silent for a second, and then you feel this like slight rumble, and you hear coming from below you more of that like creaking and groaning of wood sound. Can you please make a dexterity saving throw as a root kind of twists up and uproots itself, trying to snag you as you run?
18.
Okay. You look down just as this root kind of uproots right in front of your foot, and you're able to kind of move to the left out of the way, but you don't see the second root that kind of comes up again, and as you go to step, it snags your foot, and you go tumbling forward into this like very soft earth. So soft, in fact, that as you land and you start to kind of move to get your feet back under you, you feel yourself sinking down. And as you start to sink, you feel vines and roots and hands grasping at you, trying to pull you underneath.
Fuck. Okay. Can he try to like continue to climb his way out and fight them off, or?
The more you move, you feel like you're sinking more. You can try to look for something to grab to pull yourself out.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a perception check. That's a not. That's a 5 total.
Nope.
Can he still see over the edge right now?
Mm-hmm. You're thigh deep at this point.
Okay, he's gonna burn another spell slot and misty step out again.
Amazing. So you feel like as these hands are kind of grasping at you, you just like disappear.
Yep. As soon as his feet like land on solid ground again, he keeps running.
So again, you're running, and I think the light is close now. Like I want to say you're maybe like probably less than like 60 feet away. And as you're booking it towards the light, well, I was gonna ask if a natural 20 hits, but I'm not going to.
Boy.
You feel this sharp pain in your lower back. And I think you kind of are like almost propelled forward a little bit at the intrusion. And you look down and you watch this like pointy branch come through the other side, the front through your stomach.
Oh, fuck.
As it rips your shirt, the point spreads out, and you watch as it starts to like the branch starts to pull itself back. I'm gonna let you react, but hold on 1 second. You take 18 points of piercing damage.
Ooh.
As the thing, it like splays out in front and starts to yank back.
I think that he definitely cries out in pain and like grips it. I think it's come through him on the other side from behind, right?
Yeah.
Is it pliable enough that he could turn around?
No.
No? Okay. I think that he's gonna try to grip the front. Like, he's going to stop. He's going to push himself further onto it.
Okay.
So that there's more space in front. I'll take whatever damage I have to do that.
You take another 10 points of damage.
Ooh! Okay. He's gonna grip it with his hands and he's gonna try to snap it.
Make a strength check.
23 total?
Yeah. Tell me how you break it.
I think that he just grips the front of it and he just is gonna bend it up and snap it. And he's gonna shove himself off of it and kind of stumble a bit.
And as you do, you take another 7 points of damage as you pull yourself off. And you keep running?
Yeah, like clutching his stomach.
And so I think you're about 30 feet away from the light at this point, where the branches kind of clear out and you can see this like delineation between light and dark, and you see that field ahead. As you're running, you feel simultaneously 4 vines, 2 wrap around your, like where your arm and your shoulder meet, and 2 around your calves, and you are pretty much stopped in dead motion.
How long are they?
You look back, you can't tell. Like, you don't see a source.
I think that he's gonna smear his hand, like he's gonna take his hands that are covered in blood, his own, from his stomach. He's gonna add more onto it. He's gonna try to blow them apart, essentially. You see as he kind of takes the blood in his hands and clasps both of them together, he pulls his hands apart and there's 3 little motes of red light as he's gonna cast Scorching Ray aimed at 3 of them. 19 to hit for 1. 19 plus 9 to hit. Dirty 20.
Yep, all 3 hit.
So the first one is 7 points of fire damage. The second one is 6 points of fire damage. And the last one is 11 points of fire damage.
Okay, so 2 of them, as these motes kind of go out and hit, where are you having them hit? Like at close to you? So, or are you like sending it further up?
Just a little further up because he doesn't want to get hit by the fire as well.
So 2 of them get severed immediately. I think both of the arm ones get severed. The other one you obviously didn't hit, and the other one is still holding on, but you feel like if you pull forward, you can kind of step forward with that foot. But what happens is the one that has a firm hold on you kind of like lashes out like a whip, and make a dexterity save.
13.
You feel your kind of foot get pulled up and you land on your ass. And you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage, and you start to get pulled backwards.
Shit.
So we are going to be ripped from this scene. It is almost like the camera is pulled away by an unseen force. And we very rapidly are pulled backward and deposited back into the room with the hag, who's watching this scene with a mixture of amusement and sort of trepidation. She's unsure if Véres will survive. Unsure if he's strong enough. When it becomes abundantly clear that they are not going to get out of this, she growls and plunges her hand into the cauldron, clutching the bottle in her other hand. Somewhere in the room, we hear 3 cracks and explosions, and more smoke joins in the swirling vortex, which is now roiling with intensity. We follow the new mist into the cauldron and further still into the scene, traveling past the hand that's now reaching out from a cyclone of black clouds which have appeared from seemingly nowhere. A massive hand, the same hand we followed from the room to the open air, descends from the cyclone and grabs Véres by his torso, ripping him from the branch and hoisting him up in a jerking motion and throwing him up and past the tree, far from the branch's reaches and clear over the forest. Véres, you will take damage from this, but we will cover that later. Véres free falls in an arc towards a very clear barrier, a delineation of forest and a field of flowers. You think for a moment you'll land hard, sustaining more damage than you ever have before, until that hand descends once more from a cyclone that forms rapidly just inside the field of flowers and catches you just before your ass hits the ground. The hand drops you into a field and slithers back up into the sky, and we stay with you as we all watch the cyclone disappear. A bundle of mugwort and chamomile fall from the disappearing point, landing in your hands. As you catch it and the bundle makes contact with your skin, you hear a voice float up from the bundle. Be careful, my tulip. Don't want you to wilt too soon. Véres, you will take 6 points of slashing damage from the vine being ripped off.
Okay. Great.
Véres, you are now sitting in a field of flowers, and you can see a hilly landscape in the distance. And from behind, you watch as the forest of these like ashen gray trees in this quick motion, they kind of grow up to cover the hole. And the space that the man had cleared for you closes up. Like these branches, they reseal around the hole that was made there. And you see now on the other side where the light and dark kind of meet, these humanoid shadow figures standing in the darkness at the border of the light. And they're all of varying height, and they all have these oversized hoods on, obscuring any facial features that you might be able to see. and even their hands are covered in black gloves. And some are wearing like these brass circlets or crowns atop the hoods where their heads are. And some have brass chains around their necks, and they're all standing stock still, except for these fluid hand movements. You see this black mist kind of coalesces around their fingertips.
I think he takes a moment to, just quickly take all that in, just scans the area. But he's going to file it away for later for now. He's going to take a moment because he's really fucked up. What I'd like him to do is to use, he's going to essentially heat his hand up with magic.
And cauterize.
So he doesn't bleed out.
Okay.
And then he's going to bandage himself before he gets moving. I think that as he is bandaging himself up, we're going to pan away and we're going to zoom in on Elara and Ivy, maybe half a day after leaving the mushroom forest, I would say. How are you two feeling?
Tired.
Tired, but determined.
Mm-hmm.
Elara is following Ivy's lead.
Perfect.
Ivy's marching. She's like dead set. She's determined.
The both of them.
I think Elara now realizes how ridiculous her plan of like waltzing into Felismore and being like, where's Ivy? Now that Ivy has been like, we're just gonna waltz into the Unseelie and essentially be like, where's Véres? But she's also like holding her. She's like, well, it worked the first time, so it's going to work again. Like it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I see no flaw in this logic.
No. Yeah.
At all. No. It's foolproof.
She has 100% success rate so far, though. So
yeah. No, it's great. Why would she think anything else?
Yeah, she'll be fine.
The voice of reason gnawing at her. She's like, shut your mouth.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy, as you're leading the way, I would say probably at a brisk pace, judging by what you've said, you know that this area somewhere has some kind of dangerous terrain coming up in the fashion of a ever-shifting forest.
Okay.
And right as you think that, you both feel the ground start to rumble. I need you to make a dexterity save for me, you two.
Ivy sighs heavily. Natural 20.
19 plus 2 is a 21.
Fuck it up, you guys. Amazing. So, you're walking.
Congrats on your natural 20, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And all of a sudden you feel the ground tremble slightly. It's so minor that for a moment you're not sure if that's actually what you're feeling or if your legs are just getting weak. And then the whole ground lurches and you physically shift forward, almost as if you were about to be flung to said ground.
Mm-hmm.
But you right yourself, and as you do, you feel the sensation of moving up. You look down and you realize that you both are standing on tree roots that are moving themselves up out of the ground, bending, arching until there's about 5 feet from you and the ground. Moss and grass and other things are kind of hanging off of it. As they shift up, slither to different random directions, and the trees that you guys are on are shifting. They actually physically move, and then they settle. Luckily, you two weren't separated. You were on tree roots of the same tree. Ivy, you've heard of this forest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you actually thought that they moved. I think that you maybe heard that it could have been illusions.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a lot more difficult to navigate than you had anticipated. And that being said, I'm going to get you to make a survival check.
Okay. I think she just sighs, this like long suffering sigh.
Alara's like, well, I think, Ivy, I have to tell you a secret.
Oh?
Well, I picked up a crystal and I put it in my pocket back in the mushroom field, and I thought that I didn't touch any of the dust, but the forest is moving now and we're on a tree that's moving, and so I'm pretty sure that I'm hallucinating.
No, you're not hallucinating.
Well, maybe we're both hallucinating then. So forget about what I just said before.
I'm not going to, but I'm going to put it to the side for right now.
Obsessed.
That is a 24.
Fuck yeah, it is. Amazing.
Perfect. So you are able to navigate. You recenter yourself and you're like, oh yeah, no, we just shifted a little bit to the south. That's okay. You reorientate yourself towards the Unseelie and you continue on. Only the forest is a lot closer together now than it was previously. So there are points where you're walking and you have to reroute yourself a couple of times because there is just no physical way you can get through. After some time, you feel the ground tremble again. Only this time, instead of shooting up 5 feet, the ground gives 15, and you're gonna fall. I need you both to make dexterity saving throws once again.
Well, that one is not a 19. That's an 8.
That is an 18 plus my dexterity, which is somewhere in here.
Perfect.
That's dirty 20 then.
Dirty 20? Okay. So, you both fall about 15 feet into this hole that has now been made.
No, thank you.
As you're sitting there, blocking yourself, oh, by the way, Elara, you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Love it.
Ivy, you take 3.
Okay.
And as you're sitting there trying to collect yourself and reorientate yourself, figure out what the hell just happened, the ground begins to shake again, and the earth rolls. You are shoved forward without any control at a rapid pace.
I grab onto Ivy.
Grab onto Elara and Bia.
I'm going to need you both to make a strength check to see how you are able to hold on to one another.
Love you too. Jesus Christ.
At advantage because we love each other so much?
Yeah. The power of love?
I adore you both, but no.
9.
5.
Alright, so try as you both might. Unfortunately, you're moved at different paces, and you are both rocketed forward. You don't know how fast the ground is moving. You don't know how far you've traveled. It's hard to see. Everything is a blur. You're moving really fast.
That's rude.
And then all of a sudden it stops.
Do we see each other?
Make a perception check.
10.
13 plus
7.
7. Dirty 20.
Elara, you don't see Ivy, but Ivy, you do see Elara further down, about 25 feet away from you. The ground begins to tremble again.
Ivy books it towards Elara.
Perfect. You'll get there to her in no time. Elara, what are you doing?
Trying to get my feet under me as it starts rumbling again.
All right. I think you're able to get up.
And she's like, Ivy?
And Ivy, she runs up right next to you.
How do we get out of here?
Run.
Oh.
As Ivy says run, I need you both to make a dexterity saving throw again, please.
10.
As she was running, she was trying to think of like what she could do, and that's what she settled on. Lucky 13 plus... So 15.
Well, you don't have to worry about trying to get out of this 15-foot hole anymore because suddenly you're launched into the air.
Incredible.
Ivy just goes incredible.
Ivy watches you soar through the air, just like, okay.
Laura's like, I thought about casting catapult on us, but I guess this is...
I thought about casting.
Good news is you're both going in the same direction.
Okay.
Forcefully.
Very forcefully. I need you to make, and again, another dexterity saving throw, or you have an opportunity to cast something.
Natural 20.
Natural 20, amazing, okay.
Natural 20.
Oh my god!
No
Oh
fucking
my
joke.
God.
I'm not joking.
That's amazing.
Okay, so you both get launched through the air, and
Fuck yeah.
The power of friendship, guys.
the power of friendship.
We joined
both-
hands midair.
You both lock eyes with one another midair, look forward, and at the same time you both see some vines coming from much taller trees. You get the sense that you're in the thick of it now. And you both reach out and you grab some vines, able to swing down back to the ground. No problem.
Yes.
You don't take any damage.
Amazing. Alara's just like, that was really cool.
I
And feel
know.
like Véres is never gonna believe that we did that.
Ivy, make a survival check.
18.
Hey.
18? All right. Ivy, you know that you have to continue forward, but go a little bit more east.
She pivots and they run.
Perfect. All right. You're just going to run? You don't want to do anything else?
Do I see any gems?
Make a perception check.
15.
No, Elara, you don't see any gems, but as one of the tree roots settle back into place, you do see a skeleton.
I pick it up now. She goes, yikes, and keeps running.
Yikes.
Well, you continue to traverse. The forest does keep shifting, though less dramatically as the further away from the center you get.
Do they have like faces? Like, can we like talk to them?
Do you want to check for faces? Make a perception check.
14.
Not that you see.
Cool. So I think as Elara ponders whether or not the trees have faces, we're gonna zoom out of Elara and Ivy running through this moving forest, and we're going to zoom back in on Véres, who has patched himself up some time ago now. You feel like you have been walking, I think, for days at this point. Like, literally every step now, your calves are burning and your feet are aching. Make a Constitution save. You're still injured. You've cauterized your wound, but you haven't healed.
So it's a natural 20.
Nice.
For a total of 26.
Okay, so your body, everything in you, your body, your mind is telling you to rest, and you are just pushing. You know that you can push on. You know that it's probably not the best idea, but you are determined.
I think part of it is just delusion at this point. Like, I think that he's so exhausted and in so much pain that he's just kind of tuned out from the world. He's just moving at this point. This whole time, all he really wants is to make sure that those two are okay. To make sure that he gets the fuck away from whatever the hell all that was. Is also kind of, I think kind of fueled by denial and resentment towards what they said about him in the Unseelie. Like, he wants to get away from that possibility at all.
I think with all of this, for all of this denial and delusion and resentment, for all the pain that you're feeling, and for all of this time that you feel that you've spent walking, you look up at some point, the sky is blue and clear, and it seems like the sun has barely moved. If you had to guess, you've been walking for over a day, the sun has moved maybe a couple of inches in the sky. It's a little disheartening, I think. The landscape has changed, though, from that field of flowers to kind of like this sparse forest. And I think that is the only indication you have that you're actually moving. There has been not one form of humanoid life since you left that dark forest. You see wildlife, you see creatures, I think, that are like barely in your perception. Nothing feels threatening. And so I don't think it's something that you're like super focused on. The trees are tall. There's mossy, like green mossy earth at your feet. And if you look back, you can no longer see the darkness, but you can still kind of feel it. Like, you know it's there. And you know, because you've seen with your own eyes, that it is slowly inching closer. You continue to walk. The forest continues to thin. Make a survival check.
16.
Nice. I think that you follow the continued thinning of trees. I think that thinning of trees may mean civilization, right? Meaning people have kind of cut down trees to make paths or places to live and things like that. And eventually, you come to a path. It's a bit overgrown, but you can definitely see that there's like cart tracks that have come through this way, not recently, by any means. It's not a well-trodden path. And you come up on it kind of like perpendicular. So you come up to it, you kind of break into this little clearing, and now you can make out this path. There's no signs or anything. Is there a specific way that you would like to go?
Can I make a check to see where the majority of foot traffic is heading?
Yeah. Make an investigation check at disadvantage because of your state.
It's a 12.
I think you study the path. I think you walk in a direction. You walk in both directions for a little bit. You are pretty confident that if you take the path that kind of veers to the left, you feel like the tracks are coming from the right, walking more towards the left than versus people coming the other way. You know that as far as your sense of direction, you think that the path to the right will lead back towards the darkness.
Okay, so I was going to follow the left one.
And you do. And you continue to walk. Can you please make another Constitution save?
22.
So again, everything in you, I mean, you haven't eaten probably, right?
No.
You're starving, your body feels weak, but there's something in you that you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You walk and you walk. And eventually, as you're walking, with your passive perception, you see about 80 feet down the path what looks like a signpost, overgrown with like flowering, viney flowers.
I'm gonna go to it, I think, and see what it says.
So you get closer, and it's overgrown with these vines. The post is about 5 feet tall, and it looks like it's got 3 arrows on it. 2 are pointing in the direction you were walking, and 1 is pointing in the direction that you came from, but you can't make anything out because it's just completely overgrown.
I'm gonna take out a dagger. I'm gonna cut it.
Yeah. So you cut away at the vines. Do you touch them?
Yes.
Make a Constitution save.
17.
I think you get some of the flower pollen on your fingertips, and you feel like your hands start to tingle after like a second or two of getting this pollen on your fingertips. You do anything?
He looks down at it.
Just you see the pollen there on your fingertips, and you see that the spots, it's tingling where the spots are.
Okay. He's gonna take out his like water canister, I guess, and he's gonna wash it off.
You do, and it washes away. The 2 fingers that it touched, slowly they start to go numb, but it stops like at your fingers. It doesn't go into your hand or anything like that. But you have like that pins and needles kind of numb feeling in your fingertips.
That's weird. Ordinarily, he'd be intrigued to collect that. Could be useful later, but not today. What does the sign say?
So, pointing back the way you came, the sign says Kindron, and then pointing forward in the kind of the way that you were going, one of the signs on like a shorter arrow says the word Paradella, and the other one on top, it's like on a longer arrow, says Felismore.
He's turning to the one that says Felismore. And he walks on. As he continues to walk to Felismore, we're going to turn to Ivy and Elara, who have long since left the moving forest.
Hey.
Ivy, you know that if you have successfully traversed the forest, it will have cut a day and a half, maybe 2 days out of your journey.
Wahoo!
But it's getting dark now. The sun is setting, and it's setting quickly. Would you like to continue forward or rest for the night?
I think when Elara sees that it's getting dark, she like looks at Ivy, because I think they're both exhausted probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we should keep moving until we find them or someone who can help us, right?
I don't think anybody's going to help us. So, and we are still like a day away. We're going to need to rest sooner rather than later.
I don't think that we should. I think that we should keep going until we find them, you know? Because look at all the stuff that we faced so far.
Exactly, Elara. And if we die before we find them, is that going to be any consolation or?
Well, we can die when we're sleeping if something comes up and attacks us. Also, 2 questions, actually. Why did you say that Véres might be dead when I first found you?
Because they landed in the Unseelie.
How do you know?
So, the fun thing about the Feywild when you come through portals is if you don't have a very specific destination in mind, it sorts you from your past deeds.
Just thinking for a second. Véres just did a really bad deed, kind of, in the forest. Well, how come you didn't go there?
I was plucked from the portal from my Aunt Tanya.
Your aunt can pluck people from portals?
Yes.
That's really cool.
I guess, yeah. It's just sort of I feel like all gods can, can't they?
You see Elara's face blue screen for a second. Like, what? I think they were walking this whole time, and then that's when like she stops walking, you know?
She nods and she goes, I mean, I don't know about the gods in Thylissa, and I guess by extension Elsewhere, right?
You never told me that your aunt was a god. I thought that there were 2 gods here.
There are. Titania, my Aunt Tanya, and Nemeth.
Oh. She nods slowly.
I'm sorry. I thought that was kind of obvious.
Maybe to someone else. But no. It was not obvious, Ivy. And it's fine. It's fine. She kind of like bows a little bit, I think, to you.
Don't bow, please. She's not my aunt by blood. It's just, she's like family, you know?
Oh.
And it's really awkward when people bow to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just told me that your, Aunt Tanya is the queen god.
Like, okay, do you not have like any, like, your parents' best friend that you call aunt or uncle or something like that?
She nods.
That's kind of similar, only she like, I think I saw her just as much as I saw my parents growing up. So she's a huge part of my life, so, Aunt Tanya is better than Queen Titania from the age of like 0.
Okay, again, and even if she was really blood related, totally fine. Just it's still a big deal. She's the queen.
True, but if she was my blood aunt, then that would make me like a god or something. And we'd be having a very different conversation.
Well, yeah, then you could just portal to wherever we needed to go and get Véres and it would be fine.
Exactly. One and done.
And then she gets like a look of confusion. Okay, so then why didn't she just send someone out to find me and Véres?
She did send someone out to find you, but she did say that she wasn't going to send anybody to the Unseelie because of this whole like impending war situation. It could be seen like an act of or a declaration of war. So I knew that I was going to have to go and get him, and I was going to have you be found first, and then get Bia, and then you somehow how did you make it into Felismore to begin with?
Well, I will tell you that as soon as we find Véres, who now, and she like grabs your sleeve and starts walking in a direction, we need to find even faster and more because no one else is coming to help us, which I did think someone was going to actually come and help us. And second of all, if the Unseelie is really super dangerous and also war stuff, we need to get him and we need to get out. So which way do we go?
She course corrects them just a little bit.
Make a survival check.
14.
You think you're going the right way?
Don't like that.
And I think she's just resigned to go until Elara literally passes out, and then she'll make camp.
Elara is marching forward, and she's actually got the nanobot vial in her hand, and she's like aggressively marching forward with it. Pure determination. They're alive, and we're gonna find them.
She nods. I think after a little bit of silence, she goes, upon reflecting, it wasn't obvious. I apologize. I should have mentioned it.
It's okay. I get it. I mean, I guess if I was royalty, I wouldn't just go announcing it everywhere all the time either. And I am really bad at picking up on things, so those two things combined definitely didn't help. And like I said, when we were back in Elisora at one point, we don't know anything about each other, and this just continues to prove my point. So another thing is, when we find Véres, we are all going to have a sit down, and we are going to get to know each other better, and that's it. Well, there's probably more stuff, but I can't think of anything else right now.
She nods.
And I did have a second question, and I did forget it, but that's okay because it'll come back eventually.
Ivy nods.
And we walk.
Because she has a feeling that this might be a little bit too much right now, so she's just gonna kind of go with it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Elara, Ivy, what are your passive perceptions?
18.
10.
By this point, by the time your conversation has started to wean off, it is pitch black out here. Save for a couple of bioluminescent creatures that are moving through the darkness, like bugs or birds, and like the occasional mushroom or plant life. Ivy, with your passive perception, you notice something flick past one of the bioluminescent plants out of the corner of your eye, just blocking it out in shadow, and then it's gone again.
She holds her hand up and casts Produce Flame and like uses it as like a light to look around and see what kind of fuckery is this.
Ivy, you don't see anything, but you hear something. And that sounds like the crashing of feet amongst the trees. But not just one pair, multiple. And then you hear the distinct clatter of metal. Armor.
Uh-oh.
Does it feel like we've been spotted already?
A little. They're close enough to which it seems like they're maintaining a consistent distance. And you get the sense that maybe your ball of light didn't help.
Elara, you watch as the flame flickers out, and then Ivy grabs you by the shoulder and like moves you 10 feet to the left. And then with her hand still out, you watch as black and navy smoke pours from her hand and settles around our feet as she casts Pass Without Trace.
Roll me some stealth checks, you guys.
Natural 20.
I mean,
so you got a 30?
So 30?
Ivy
plus.
very like slowly tells her what's going on. like lowly.
Elara like disappears and her jacket falls onto the floor. No, I'm just kidding.
Dirty 20 plus 2, 22.
So 32 and 22 is a pretty significant number. You feel sufficiently stealthed. In fact, distantly, you hear someone go, "What? Where'd they go?" They were just right there.
Nods in stealth.
Elara nods in stealth.
What do you guys do?
We move.
Yeah, we move silently. Redemption for sneaky sneaks.
We take every lesson Véres taught us in Sneaky Sneaks and we use it and we fucking go.
Perfect. Do you want to try to figure out who they are, or are you just going?
If we can do it safely.
I'm gonna have Bia fly up 30 feet so that she's still within this like range.
Oh, Bia needs to roll stealth too.
Oh, Bia's fine. It's a 26.
Amazing. Okay. Stealthier than her mom.
Yeah. So she very silently flies up, and Ivy looks through her eyes to see if we can see who it is.
You look through, and you do see a familiar crest on the right chest of this person's armor. It's the crest of the Queen's Guard.
Lara, you see Ivy just sort of nod, and Bia flies back down and lands on her head, and she's like, "It's the Queen's Guard."
If we ask them for help, will they
No.
help us? Okay.
No, they're here to take us back.
Okay. She shakes her head no.
So they sneak forward. As Ivy and Elara stealth away, we're going to use that good old camera panning and pan out. And we're going to pan to Véres. Véres, what are you currently doing right now?
Walking.
Walking? Just walking?
Yep. Trying to keep a lookout, but really probably not paying that much attention anymore. He's exhausted.
How long do you think you've been walking?
God, I don't think he knows. I don't think he has any clue. It feels like forever.
Because the sun still hasn't moved in the sky.
Which is frustrating. So he's wondering, time's different here, he knows that. But how different, he has no idea. So part of him's like, has it really been a couple of days? Or am I just fucking dying?
Fair enough.
Like, what is happening?
As you're walking, you notice that the scene around you doesn't really change either. And you've been following this path through this very sparse forest. You walk for what your body understands to be another couple hours. You're so tired at this point. And then suddenly, the sun that has stayed stationary in the sky this whole time moves rapidly. And the scene around you changes rapidly. It's almost like you stepped into another portal, but there's not the telltale like kaleidoscope of colors around you. Just the earth beneath you and the sky above you move. And suddenly it's the end of a day and you're standing at the edge of an emerald green forest. Could you make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
21.
So you feel like you're about to throw up, but you're able to tamper it down. Like your body feels like you were just spun like a fucking Beyblade. But you're able to collect yourself. You're able to keep it down. And then there's just an emerald green forest in front of you.
Okay. This is the path that he's supposed to take to get to Felismore as far as he knows, so he's just gonna take a second to lean against the tree. Just take a breather for a moment and then head in.
As your foot crests the threshold, the sun moves again, but it's not as much as it was the first time. But now the sun has set and there are stars winking into existence in the night sky. So you keep moving.
I do, yeah.
You see a sign that does say Felismore. There's no mile marker. There's nothing to indicate how much longer it is until you make it there. But there is a sign that says that you are on the correct path. And as you walk a while more, I would like for you to make me a perception check, please.
Please don't fuck me. I'm gonna start doing that every time. It's a 16. It's not bad.
As you step, you notice that when you take a step forward, the color of the grass like ripples. Like you're stepping on water almost. You know, when you disrupt a glassy surface, the water ripples around what was disrupted. So too does your boot as it touches this grass. But the ripple shows up more in the color. It ripples from green to pink to purple to blue and then back to green again. And this happens with every step you take.
I think that he thinks that he's so tired that he's tripping balls
Listen, that's
for
fair.
a second. But either way, it's pretty.
You keep walking. You're determined. You're either going to make it to Felismore or you're going to pass out, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you move forward, Véres, will you make me a perception check?
It's 11.
I think you don't see it until you're right up on it, but suddenly you see a rock. Just a normal, I say in quotations, rock. But as you get closer, it starts projecting the words, "You were here."
Can I see if it has any magic on it?
Make me an Arcana check.
22.
It is a very unique situation. I think there are traces of magic, very, very faint. So faint that if you hadn't rolled as well as you did, and if you hadn't been around this for as long as you have, you wouldn't see it.
It has runes etched into it if you look closely, and it probably has her initials on it.
You turn it over in your hands, and it has ES printed on the bottom of it.
I think that he smiles a little bit. And he kind of like tosses it up and down in his hand a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks around. Does he see any signs of her besides the rock?
Make me a survival check.
It's a 5.
No, you don't see anything. You don't even see boot prints.
He's going to keep it in his hand.
Yeah, so you keep this rock with you. Which way do you go from here? Do you keep going straight?
Can he tell which direction is civilization from here?
No.
Probably.
But you know that the rock was facing the same way that you're going.
I'll go that way.
Okay. After another couple hours, it's still dark. That hasn't changed. But the forest canopy above you is pretty thick, so you're unsure if it would change. But I want you to make me a con saving throw.
11. So 17.
You're starting to feel like your limbs are weighed down. You're starting to feel like something is coming up from the ground and pulling your limbs downward. But you're able to continue on still. You keep walking, and the life around you has changed from that chittering from the Unseelie to more of like what you would hear normally at night. Crickets chirping, things rustling in the underbrush. There is a lot more life here than there was in the Unseelie. And you keep going. And in the very, very distance, you start to see more light. And I want you to make me another con save.
That's a 9.
You get a little closer, a little bit more invigorated, I think maybe, by the possibility of civilization. But you only get about 10 steps before your vision clouds over and you just succumb to your exhaustion. And you collapse onto the ground, still clutching that rock. But you are now sleeping. By force.
Had to happen sometime.
Thanks so much for listening. We're incredibly grateful for the love and support.
And P.S. if you want more content, check out our Patreon for free clips, bonus scenes, and if you join the Red Rogues, you'll get access to the Rainbow Dice Club chat and after show where we talk about past episodes.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us.
Special thanks to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Jen Bear and Michael.
And with that, our story pause is here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye! If he just dodged a bullet or
Lost the love of his life.
I don't know about that, but I definitely
That's a Taylor Swift. It's a Taylor Swift song. I don't know if I dodged a bullet or just lost the love of my life.
Oh my god, no way.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he just dodged a bullet or he was
Fair.
hot though. Like what the fuck?
Cacophonous. You hear this?
I'm obsessed with the idea that one day Alara's going to take this clothing item out of her pack
And go on the worst trip of her life.
Yeah.
Do you have like a scarf or something?
No, I
when
think
it's
she'll just
cold
take
out?
like a shirt out. What do you do, Gerwin?
Thanks, creepy tree.
Véres, you will Véres, you will take 6 points of slapping damage. Slapping damage?
As the hand comes down and just poop, 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 poop.
Smacks you.
And then it gives you a little boop on the nose.
Obsessed.
Véres, you will take 6
My brain is still whirling about the imagery of getting tossed through the air.
That was so cool.
like a
It was really
fucking
great.
rag doll.
Yeah. But like
When
a
I was
fucking torpedo through the air, just like
yeah. When I was writing it, I was like, I don't want her to just like very nicely pick him up and then like carry him over and set him down. I was like, no, bitch is gonna get yeeted.
It was amazing.
It saves him. Well, I don't really know.
Yeah, you were like, oh, you wait till you hear it, actually.
It was a save, but like
But at what cost?
Things are violent here.
at the cost that he went down to 28 hit points.
Wow.
Véres has wind rash now.
Véres is having a hard time, which is okay. It's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast a spell?
Yes, absolutely you can.
I cast hover boots. No kidding.
Oh, man.
I don't even
love
know
that.
what I would cast, actually. I cast conjure animals and I cast 1,000 bees to lift us up from the floor.
I'm obsessed.
Now I'm looking at my spells. Hold on.
I don't think I've got
I
anything
don't
that's
think I
gonna
have
help
anything
this.
that can help either. I cast mending on my broken life.
Wow. That's emo.
I wish I could catapult us out of this place.
That would be very funny.
It would be.